I would really caution you from going down this path, especially as someone who, is a commentator, uses your words for a living. I know in the past, I did a little bit of research. You called people who were enforcing mask protocols Nazis. President Trump has, of course, used his language in quite aggressive ways, including calling Kamala Harris and others fascist, radical leftists, communists, et cetera, et cetera. Do I think that that was inciting violence against Kamala Harris? Do I think you were inciting violence against people who were enforcing mask mandates? No.
Oh my God, dude, she just fucking buried her. Dude, it's like, I'm like, want to get my shovel, dude. We got to cover up the body. We are fucking 1 minute into this thing, dude. And she just fucking cooked her, bro.
Real fascism, actual textbook boots on the ground fascism, is not just someone who disagrees with me politically. It's dictatorship, it's state-run media, it's suppression of dissent, it's political violence used to silence the opposition, which, let's be honest, sounds a lot closer to some of the tactics we've seen from the radical left for at least the last decade.
The radical
Calling
left.
everyone who leans right a fascist is not just dishonest, it's dangerous. And not just because it puts a big old target on our backs, but also this. When everything is fascism, nothing is.
Dude, when everything is fascist, nothing is? What an idiot. I know it's scripted, and she can't even read good, but like...
The left did the same with the label racist, and while they still love that one, they've become more enamored with fascist because it's more abstract and they can assign whatever the hell they want to it because, let's be honest, these idiot protesters and Antifa freaks don't really know what the hell fascism is, and they don't care. It's an excuse.
Isn't that funny how she's berating us for using the term fascist while she throws in the Antifa freaks, right? You notice that? Their self-awareness is like 0%. They're just like, oh, you got to stop calling us fascists, you Antifa, Marxist, communist, freak, fucking blah. It's like, oh, okay. Oh, all right. Fascist, calling you a fascist or a racist because of your fascist and racist behavior is a problem, but you can rattle off 9 terms to describe me, right? I'm a woke, communist, Marxist, Leninist, socialist, fucking globalist, right, is the new one they're using to describe Jewish people now. Globalist is their big one.
It turns our politics into a clown show. It shuts down debate. It desensitizes people to the real threats out there. And maybe that's the point. Because if you can paint every conservative from a suburban mom to a small business owner as a budding Hitler, you don't have to argue ideas anymore. You just smear, silence, and move on. It's lazy, it's manipulative, and yeah, it's un-American. If Democrats really want to have a conversation, let's do it. Let's talk about policy, solutions. But this fascist nonsense, it's a political crutch.
Dude, they say, let's talk about policy and solutions. Okay, where's Donald Trump's health care bill, Tomi Lahren? Right? Let's talk about Donald Trump. He's spent 10 years trying to get rid of Obamacare. What's his health care plan, Tommy? Right? Why do we can't talk about trans rights because I get hit with men and women's sports, right? Or mutilating kids, right? I mean, come on. This is some hypocritical bullshit, bro. Right? Let's talk about guns. All right? Everybody and their mother is complaining about Charlie Kirk being gunned down, right? Or one trans athlete, Utah, called a special session to prevent one trans girl from playing volleyball. One girl. Okay? But like, dude, how many kids have we watched die in school shootings? And they get no special session. They get no laws. We're not even talking about protecting them. We're watching you attack one trans girl or watching you, right? Or, you know what I mean? I mean, what are we even doing here? Or watching you spend the next 20 years talking about one guy who got shot. When like, dude, what about the other 45,000 people who die of gunfire? Can we talk about any of them? We can't talk about a murderer unless he's an undocumented immigrant, right? We can't talk about the 10,000 women being essayed in college every year, reported. So it's probably 30,000 actually experiencing it, but we don't talk about them. If an undocumented person essays someone, we talk about that. You talk about that for a year, 2 years, 5 years. It's the only thing you talk about. One trans athlete, 10 trans athletes in the NCAA. You want to like talk about them every day. But what about the 10, 20, 30,000 women who are essayed in the NCAA? Can we talk about the 20,000 instead of the 10? Come on. She's full of that, bro. It is like gaslighting. All they do is culture war, man.
A fear tactic, a distraction, and honestly, it's getting old. But joining me now to have the discussion is liberal commentator and co-host of Breaking Points with Krystal and Sagar is Krystal Ball. Krystal, it's so great to have you. I want to have the discussion.
Krystal, it's so great to have you. Dude, is it just me or does Tomi Lahren, she feels like a fucking robot, bro? Her cadence, hey, Krystal, it's great to have you. Donald Trump, oh, they called us a fascist. They call me Hitler. I just got new eyelashes. Hey, Krystal, we're so great to have you. Right? Jesus Christ. All right.
I know that you tweet a lot about it, and I'm very interested to hear if you think President Trump is a fascist, and if you think that I, by definition, as a conservative, am also a fascist.
I don't think everyone who supports President Trump is a fascist. I do think that President Trump is a fascist, though. And I'll give you a perfect example, Tommy. It's kind of an awkward day for you to give this spiel because Trump is speaking to all the generals today in Quantico. And he just said that he's going to use the military against the enemy within, which is part and parcel of what he's been doing with deploying the National Guard in cities across the country. So when you ask about definition of fascism, the president really sort of gave his own definition of fascism today. I know you want to agree with that, but let me just make a broader point here.
Yeah, I want to dive into that.
Well, let me just make a broader point here because, you know, I think as someone who came from a side that did a lot of tone policing and, by the way, called out people who were policing rhetoric and doing the whole cancel culture thing, I would really caution you from going down this path, especially as someone who, you know, is a commentator, uses your words for a living. I know in the past I did a little bit of research. You called people who were enforcing mask protocols Nazis. President Trump has, of course, used his language in quite aggressive ways, including calling Kamala Harris and others fascist, radical leftists, communists, et cetera, et cetera. Do I think that that was inciting violence against Kamala Harris? Do I think you were inciting violence against people who were enforcing mask mandates? No. So I think we have to really maintain this commitment to First Amendment free speech, even in the face of incredible crackdowns from this administration in ways that are truly extraordinary and quite dystopian.
Oh my God, dude, she just fucking buried her. Dude, it's like, I'm like, want to get my shovel, dude. We got to cover up the body. We are fucking 1 minute into this thing, dude. And she just fucking cooked her, bro. Oh my God, dude. Look at her face, too. She's like, oh shit, I'm going to go get my nails done. I'm like, dude. That was fucking insane. I love that. I did my research. You called people who enforce mask mandates Nazis. Of course she did. Of course she did. Dude, I literally had somebody on Twitter where I was like commenting about Trump and they called me a bully. And I was like, oh, really? Oh, that's rich. Right? Dude, isn't that funny? She just fucking destroyed her. God, that was so pleasant to watch. Krystal, thank you for being so fucking, like, unbelievably good. You never disappoint, ever.
I would love to hear about the First Amendment crackdowns from this administration and what you would classify those as. But I want to go back to President Trump this morning. And again, I know that the liberals, I know that you all love it when he says something and it's like, oh my God, this is the definition. He's going to use the military against us. Well, I would argue it's well within his rights to use the National Guard in D.C. And D.C. is pretty great place right now, by all accounts, because of his use of the National Guard there to keep people safe, mostly black and brown people, I would add. But also, when you are deploying troops to protect federal agents and federal buildings, you're also well within your right. That's not authoritarian. It's if you want to have Antifa lighting the streets on fire and terrorizing people in these cities, President Trump is going to protect his agents and he's going to protect federal assets. So I don't know what part of that you think is authoritarian. To me, it's just, if you guys want to play stupid games, we're going to make sure ensure that we have our federal assets protected. Would you rather they just be out there and be attacked by Molotov cocktails and bottles and things being lit on fire around them, buildings being lit on fire? I mean, is that your preferred course?
Well, first of all, I would say I don't think you should believe everything that you see on Fox News, Tommy, because that is not the reality in any of these cities. And I spend quite a bit of time in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, see, that is a big part of the problem is like, for example, in Portland, there's no fucking violence here. Portland was never on fire. Portland has never burned. We've never been unsafe. We've never had anarchy or some crazy web of violence. It's never been war ravaged or war torn. There goes the confirmation of the state TV. Okay? Because, you know, Trump, the day he sent the troops to Portland's ICE facility, Ron Wyden had one of his assistants film the building. There was nobody there. Nothing. Right? Dude, come on, man. What is up, guys? Thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, you want to support independent resistance media, you know what to do. Drop that sub, hit the like button, and please share it. And we do love our members, so if you want to become a member, it's another really great way to support. Thanks again for everything, guys. I'll see you next time. Let's go.